So the U.S. is actually acting on one of Trump's disturbing whims. The Trump administration has notified Congress that the U.S. is officially withdrawing from the World Health Organization. Now, am I saying that the World Health Organization is perfect? Am I saying they haven't made mistakes? Am I saying that, they don't have problems? Of course not. Of course not. I think every international agency or body, no matter what, field they're specifically involved in, I think they all have colossal issues that need to be addressed. That's a given. But the way he's responding to that fact is not the right way to respond to it. And also, by the way, he would never acknowledge the fact that oftentimes we're the problem with these international bodies. We try to bully them and get our way. I mean, remember, guys, it was the International Criminal Court which told the United States, you have to stop sanctioning the medicine going into Iran. And you know what we did in response to that? We pulled out of the International Criminal Court and we scolded them. So we're going to do what we want. To steal from Dave Chappelle when he was President Black Bush, Trump's response was like, oh, you don't like that? Well, why don't you come sanction me with your army? Oh, wait, you don't have an army. So how about you shut the fuck up? That's basically Trump's response to the International Criminal Court saying you can't block medicine going into Iran. Stop it. We were just like, yes, we can. And screw you, International Criminal Court. So oftentimes we're the problem with these international bodies. But, to just pull out of them, because what? They don't want to give us our way on absolutely everything when more than half the time we're probably wrong in asking for a certain thing? That's why you're pulling out of it? This has far-reaching global consequences. What this does is it does create a power vacuum, and nature abhors a vacuum. And so what you've seen recently is we are the empire on the way out. We're the superpower on the way out. And so we go in guns blazing to places when we don't like something. And look at how China is now on the rise and what China has done. China is doing the Belt and Road Initiative. And what that is basically an empire through debt and investment. So China steps into these developing countries and says, hey, what if we build up your infrastructure? Would that be cool? We can have maybe some sort of business dealing if we do that? And they're like, yeah, of course. So it's kind of like a Marshall Plan type situation. So they're doing the more intelligent version of empire and are on the rise as we have idiots running the U.S. And I'm not, just so everybody knows, I'm not pro-empire. I'm just objectively describing what's going on in the world right now. And what's going on in the world right now is U.S. leadership is so short-sighted and so stupid and so impulsive that if we don't like something, this is what Trump does. He pulls out of the World Health Organization. And I think the most important point is, I've done segments on this show talking about the difference. I think there's a difference between non-interventionism and isolationism. Non-interventionism just means, hey, let's not do any offensive wars. Let's only use our military for imminent defense of the nation. That's non-intervention. So it is a lack of doing intervention and invading countries and whatnot. That's non-intervention. I always said I wouldn't describe myself as an isolationist. Why? Because isolation has a negative connotation, and when I hear isolationism, that's not just in the realm of foreign policy, that also crosses over into economic policy and trade, for example. And it also crosses over into stuff like Trump is doing right here. This is genuinely isolationist. You're going to pull out of the World Health Organization. You're going to pull out of it. Not try to reform it, not try to improve it, not recognize that, hey, we're an international community. When dialogue breaks down, all we have left is violence. So he's not trying to fix it. He's like, I'm just going to pull out. Okay, well, that's isolationism. That's what that is. You're saying we're going to go it alone and screw the consequences. Well, there are going to be a lot of negative consequences to this. So listen, the League of Nations fell apart. And now we have the UN. The UN is horrendous in 1,000 ways, but it's better than the alternative, which is total chaos, total mayhem, a breakdown of lines of communication between nation states, which historically is incredibly dangerous. It's so dangerous. You have to use negotiation, diplomacy, open lines of communication, because that's what adults do. If you don't have that, yes, it's much more likely there's going to be a lot more violence moving forward. There's going to be a lot more miscommunication. There's going to be a lot more feuds. We're not going to get along. That has consequences when it comes to foreign policy, when it comes to trade, when it comes to a variety of issues. Immigration. So, I mean, this is just, This is the exact kind of thing I would expect from Trump, and it's something he definitely shouldn't do. Goes way too far, not productive at all, and it is, yet again, another issue where it's kind of like embarrassing on the world stage. That he thinks he's being a tough guy here, when in reality this has far-reaching consequences that he, of course, hasn't wrapped his mind around or thought about.